In this unit, we're going to study the verbs which have followed plus ing or infinitive, and the participles ending in ed and ing. Verbs plus ing and infinitive. Here you have a list with the verbs which have followed by ing. Admit, appreciate, avoid, can't face, can't help, can't stand, carry on, confess, consider, delay, deny, detest, dislike, enjoy, fancy, feel, like, finish, give up, imagine, involve, keep, keep on, mention, mind or not mind, miss, postpone, practice, put off, recommend, resist, risk, and suggest. For example, he keeps on making the same mistakes. Shy people usually avoid speaking in public. The negative with this verb pattern is made by putting not in front of the ing verb. Imagine not having a mobile phone. Here you have another list with the verbs which have followed by the to infinitive. Afford or can't afford, agree, aim, appear, arrange, attempt, choose, consent, decide, demand, deserve, fail, happen, help, hope, learn, manage, neglect, offer, omit, plan, prepare, pretend, promise, refuse, seem, tend, threaten, wait or can't wait, and wish. For example, I can't wait to see my friends again. She managed to finish her test in time. Negative sentences with these verbs are formed by putting not before the infinitive like this. Children must learn not to interrupt people when they are talking. The following two infinitive verbs have to be followed by an object, which is placed just before it. Dare, encourage, force, invite, order, persuade, remind, teach, tell, and warn. For example, her teacher encouraged her to study physics. She taught her son to drive. Some others might have an object. For example, ask, beg, expect, help, intend, and want. He expected to arrive early. He expected me to arrive early. Can you help me? The verb help also admits the infinitive without to. For example, will you help me do my homework? Verbs followed by infinitive without to. Modal verbs: can, could, may, might, must, needn't, shall, should, will, and would. You should talk to her as soon as possible. Would rather and had better. For example, you had better arrive at the airport in time if you don't want to miss the flight. The following verbs are followed by an object which goes before the infinitive. Let and make. The police officer made the car stop. My parents won't let me stay late today. Verbs followed by either infinitive or ing with no difference in meaning. Attempt, begin, can't bear, continue, hate, like, love, prefer, propose, and start. All these verbs can be followed by one or the other pattern without a difference in meaning. For example, he attempted to climb the Everest without oxygen. He attempted climbing the Everest without oxygen. However, we are going to see some exceptions to these patterns. The verb like varies its meaning slightly. With the infinitive, it means that the activity is a good idea, although not necessarily enjoyable. Some people like to get up early and go for a run. With the gerund, it means that it's something the person enjoys doing. For For example, some people like reading a book before going to sleep. When the verbs hate, like, love, and refer are preceded by would, they have to be followed by two infinitive, like this. I would love to travel to exotic countries. Verbs followed by two infinitive or ing with a difference in meaning. Remember, forget, regret, try, stop, mean, and go on. Remember and forget plus two infinitive. An action has to be done. I remember to water the plants before leaving. Don't worry, they won't fade. I always forget to water the plants. They are starting to fade. Remember and forget plus ing verb. Someone has a memory of an action done in the past. She was worried because she didn't remember locking the door before going to work. I can't forget meeting my best friend for the first time. Regret plus two infinitive refers to a present action. I regret to tell you that the concert has been cancelled. Regret plus ing verb refers to an action that happened in the past. We will always regret not having bought that house by the sea. Try plus two infinitive. The action is done as an experiment to see what happens. For example, he tried to finish the marathon, but he hadn't trained enough. Try plus ing verb. The action is done as an experiment to see what happens. Why don't you try dyeing your hair red? Stop and go on plus two infinitive. The action starts and interrupts another one. For example, he had been walking for 2 hours in the cold, so we stopped to have something warm. Stop plus an ing verb. The action is interrupted. Stop making so much noise. I'm trying to concentrate. Mean plus two infinitive. Do you have the intention to do something? I mean to tell you that the exam was today, but I forgot. Mean plus ing verb. Something involves the action expressed. Having a mobile phone means being always available. Verbs followed by infinitive or ing verb with a difference in meaning. Feel, hear, notice, see, watch. With the infinitive, it means the action was short and it was perceived completely. We watched the dog save the boy. With the ing verb, only a part of the action was perceived. We saw a group of people dancing samba in the street. In English, we can use the present participle ing and the past participle ed clauses when we want to replace relative pronouns to make our writings more economical. When using the present participle we show an active meaning. We can use this form to replace relative clauses having an active verb. For example, this is the bird singing in the mornings, which sings. On the contrary, the past participle shows a passive meaning. We use this form in order to replace relative clauses having a passive verb. For example, the castle, built 100 years ago and recently restored, is quite impressive, which was built and which has been recently restored. Apart from these uses, we also use these participle forms. After conjunctions, before leaving the house, she locked the door. After prepositions, they are good at solving problems. And as adjectives, the walk was very boring. I was surprised by her attitude. Apart from these uses, We also use these participle forms after certain verbs, for example, I hate studying history, and as the subject of a sentence. Smoking is bad for your health. In order to express consequence, result, or reason replacing verbs, as for example, having bought the dress, she didn't have to worry about anything else.